Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us again. We are a little bit late here, and even technology companies with the best technology sometimes have meltdowns. And we have been scrambling here for the last few minutes, just trying to figure out a tiny glitch with Facebook. Because guess what? Facebook changes. I don't know. We're going to talk to Almin a little bit about that, but Facebook changes all the time. So welcome to Samurai 50. We're here live at Stylelabs headquarters. So I'm in my office and I am bringing on a really special guest that I'm super excited about today. This is going to be a little bit different than most of our interviews that we've been doing. Different in the fact of who this guest is. So we bring on entrepreneurs of all kinds, like brand new startups, seasoned entrepreneurs, people that have gone through the ups and downs and the journey and the roller coaster that is entrepreneurship. So I am super thrilled to bring on our very own Almin Kassamali. And Almin is one of the partners here at Stylelabs. He has a wealth of knowledge in all things business. He is one of the absolute smartest people I have ever known, and I have said that from the first time I ever met him. So I asked Almin how much I could go on and on while I introduced him, because sometimes he doesn't like to toot his own horn, but I'm doing it for him because this man is really brilliant. He has created so many innovative digital systems for people, and we're going to dive into that and talk all about what he's done for businesses, even myself personally, what he's done for my business over the years. I have known Almin for 10 years now, so I'm thrilled to be working here with Almin at Stylelabs. So without further ado, please welcome to our Samurai 50, Almin Kassamali. And thank you so much for agreeing to do this, because I've been after you for weeks to do this. I want to bring you on, and you're so busy all the time. And this isn't your favorite thing to do. So thank you for coming and joining us.
Well, thank you for being so persistent and having me.
So, Almin, we're talking to two entrepreneurs about entrepreneurs, and you are the consummate entrepreneur. So tell me a little bit, and I know this is a big story to try and summarize here on a 20-minute, half-hour live, but tell me a little bit about your entrepreneurial story, your journey, and how you kind of got started.
Yeah, it is. It is a little bit of a long story. But, right out of university, I did a couple of years in oil and gas. I met some of the most brilliant people there. Some of those people I consider still to be mentors. And as I went through the journey, I worked in the Environment and Regulatory Affairs Department at Encana. And as I went through that journey, what I basically realized was that I wanted to have the flexibility and the freedom to create my own destiny. It was exciting and terrifying at the same time. And the thing that what actually happened was, I actually used to work for a company called Pan Canadian. And Pan Canadian merged with the Alberta Energy Company to become Encana. And when that happened, I just bought my first real car, and I was new out of school, and I was terrified. There was this big merger, and I felt very powerless, and I didn't ever want to feel that again. So after my contract was coming to an end, I talked to my mentor, and I said, listen, I got to do my own thing. And he really encouraged it. He said that he thought that there was lots of promise in whatever I decided to do, and then I left. There was an opportunity at that time. There was a failing market research company. I knew nothing about marketing. I knew nothing about market, and there was this failing company. And one of my relatives, who I'm no longer in touch with, basically told me, "Hey, you know what? Like, you really need to consider jumping in here and trying to find some solutions for these people." So I approached the CEO and I said, "You should give me your company. I will fix it." And she was like, "What do you know about market research?" And I said, "Everything." And I knew nothing. I didn't even know what it was, right? So basically what I did was, she agreed. She said, it seems like you're entrepreneurial enough that you might be able to do something with this. And so then I hit up my parents, and at that time I was completely broke. I went to my parents and I said, "Hey, I need to learn how to become a researcher." So I flew to Washington. I did a master's program in qualitative research, really understood how marketing and research, customer triggers and user experience and things like that worked. And we started this company called eStyle in 2004. And the company grew and it doubled in size every year. And one of the reasons that it kept growing was because we decided that we wanted to do things differently. And we actually took pride in the fact that we were the startup. We were the little guy. We were the youngest company. I was the youngest researcher in the industry, probably by about 10 or 12 years.
Wow.
And so I said, you know what? Like, I'm not going to use this as a disadvantage. And you know how inexperienced people think that they have all the experience in the world. So ignorance was bliss. And we started really leveraging technology to create something new and a new kind of experience. And, you know, that basically took us all the way until 2010. And, you know, perpetual growth. We built a lot of good relationships. And then in 2010, I kind of got sick of it. I got bored. And at the same time, you know, my business partner, my wife, Selena, she had, you know, she was a stay-at-home mom for many years. We wanted to really give our kids a good foundation. And she said, why don't I take over the research company? And why don't you figure something else out? And we, over all this time, we had saved up a bunch of money. And you know, our goal, and you know, especially you know, in my culture, having a paid off house is everything. So we had saved up a bunch of money to pay off a house, and so I approached her and I said, "Hey, listen, you know all that money that we saved up? I want to use it for this idea I have." And she's like, "Well, how much of it?" I'm like, "Well, all of it. Like, I think that I've found a way to really influence Google rankings with technology." And very, you know, very recently in the past, what had happened was we had been ripped off by a marketing company and a web designer. We had lost $20,000 or $30,000, and so she was open to the idea, and she just looked at me and she said, "Don't screw it up." And that's the day that Samurai was born. And it's funny because the original Samurai architect just recently rejoined our company, and he's a very, very close friend of mine. I trust him with everything, and we were just, you know, reminiscing about the journey. And you know, when we built this platform, what we realized is we didn't want to work for blue chip companies anymore, which is what we were doing on the research side. We really wanted to work with people like us. I never had anybody who had my back, who told me the rights and the wrongs, and you know, what to avoid and what it was like to be a business owner. And it was many times absolutely excruciating. And so we wanted to build a company that was founded on the principle of helping the little guy, leveling the playing field. We were all about David and not at all about Goliath, and Samurai was a slingshot. And that's basically how this whole thing started. And, you know, 10 years later, 11 years later now, here we are. And you met me, you know, I think I was 29 years old when you met me, and I was just conceptualizing this idea. And, you know, I say this online all the time. The reason that you and I met was through a mutual friend of ours, one of my best friends, Paul Anthony, who was really the one who nudged me to take this idea and make it something real. And I remember he was having a ton of problems with his marketing company at the time. They were charging him thousands of dollars, completely ripping him off. And one day I was in Hawaii with my family, and he called me and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know, I fired my marketing company." And I said, "Great, like who's going to do your stuff now?" And he's like, "Well, you are." And I'm like, I don't know anything about this stuff. Like, again, this was like market research all over again. And he's like, "Well, I have faith in you." And he was my first client. We built the first Samurai site with him. And, well, Google Calgary personal trainer. Look at any personal training keyword. He was our first success story. And, you know, it's been, you know, it's just been amazing ever since. So, you know, that was the start of how everything, you know, how our community started. So, yeah, so that's a very long answer to your short question.
No, that's great, and it's still just touching the surface. But you know, it's really interesting because you said a couple of things in there. So you said that, you know, he gave you the opportunity, but someone having an idea or an opportunity and actually, you know, actioning it and putting it into practice and creating success with it are two very different things. So go back to the 10 years you had, the 6 years you had the research company. How much did you learn in doing that research as to what the market needed, what people needed, what businesses needed.
Oh, you know what? It teaches you absolutely everything. Like, they use the term school of hard knocks. That's a real,
Mhm.
and when you're in the trenches, you will realize that there are so many little things that you can't predict from a theoretical level. You actually have to be in the field. And as we were learning, now keep in mind, I was only working with Blue Chip in the research side, but working with the Blue Chip, what I got to do is really interact with those customers, like whether it be major airlines or pharmaceutical companies. We got to deal with the real people, and when we talked to those real people, what we understood is what those real people like you and I expected from businesses. And then what we tried to do when we started Stylelabs is take all that information and then implement it into our marketing and our strategy and our web experience and so on and so forth. So
Mhm.
absolutely lots of learnings. And when we started, and something we continue to do, we have a portal. It's called Canada Survey. We've got 100,000 Canadians across the country, and every time we undertake a campaign, we'll always blast out Canada Survey, and we will actually gut check. And I tell my clients this all the time. I pride myself on being right most of the time, except
Mhm.
marriage when I'm always wrong. But other than that, I will. The reason I'm right is because I have the answers to the test. It's a cheat.
Yeah.
Cheat is market research, and it's the edge. There's so many people who say, "Oh, we'll do the research for you before we build your website," but we actually do that.
Mhm.
And we actually talk to people, customers, and get an understanding of what their expectations are before we launch. And you know what? It makes a world of difference, and the probability of success is much, much higher. We also do our own syndicated studies on an ongoing basis to understand. So, for example, we're putting one together right now to really get an understanding from small business owners as well as Gen Pop on what are they feeling with this whole COVID situation. Like, what are you going to do? Are you reluctant to go to your local optometry or to your dentist or your denturist? And on the flip side, as a business, what mechanisms are you putting in place to induce that consumer confidence? What are you doing to stay top of mind? Like the whole business and actually the whole environment in general, it's been turned on its head. This is a weird time to be alive. So what are you guys doing? So through that research, we're pulling all that data, and then we're taking that and building strategies for our customers. We did it during the last lockdown as well. And so we take this data back, we come up with recommendations, and then we help our clients action it very, very quickly.
Yeah, it's so key, and many people don't take the due diligence to do that level of research. And you learn so much from looking at that data that you collect and getting real answers, like real direction from extrapolating what you need to from that. And I love how much research you do. Like we could sit here and do a whole hour live talking about research, but I have so many more things I want to ask you about. So let's talk about the pandemic, and let's talk about when that first hit in March here at Stylelabs. We couldn't be busier.
Yeah.
So how did that happen? Like, what's going on?
Well, we have, again, it all goes back to we want to be able to create our own destiny. And we want to make sure that our clients, everybody in the Style Labs community, has control over theirs. And so when that pandemic hit, we saw it coming. I mean, I was with Selena in New York, and on Valentine's Day actually, and I remember standing outside in the cold, waiting to get into a pizza place in Brooklyn, and people were talking about this pandemic and how they were so scared that things were going to get shut down, even at that time. And so what Selena and I did, and I remember we were sitting in Times Square, after that pizza, and we didn't have. Oh, I borrowed a pen from the waitress, and we just took a whole bunch of napkins, and we put together a whole roadmap. What are we going to do for us? What are we going to do for our clients? And what are we going to do for our staff? And you know what? Those are three very important things. So the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to make sure that everybody stayed employed, everybody was safe, and everybody was secure. Because these people that are sitting outside right now, they're the reason that we even exist. And we wanted to make sure that when the times got tough, that we had their back, just like they've always had ours. And so we came up with a plan. We worked with our finance team to make sure that we had enough money that even if business stopped, these people would be able to put food on the table and they would have that security. So that was number one. Number two,
Amazing.
and number two was, what are we going to do for our company? Now, I don't believe in raising money. I don't believe in putting the company in debt to start new ventures. So we funded absolutely everything ourselves, except for one project. And that project actually was on the brink of shutdown. It wasn't doing what we needed it to do. So we actually got together with yourself, Leanne, and the rest of our leadership team, and we said, what are we going to do with this project? And we actually took the time and we completely refactored all the code, and we created a new product called the Silent Salesman Startup Kit. And the whole idea was that we understand that with the fancy websites we build and the marketing in a box service, we're really servicing the top 1% of small businesses. What about the other 99? Like, we're not just here to make money. We are here to help people. How do we create access for everybody else? And so we actually, with our development team, refactored the entire code, and we created what we call Marketing Rocket. It's a website, it's an email marketing tool, it's a reputation management tool, it's in-portal messaging, all for the startup, the mompreneur, the little guy again. And then we wrapped it around what we call an academy. And so I don't believe in holding clients hostage. I believe that if you empower them with lots of education, what's going to happen is your relationship with them is going to be sticky. And so we actually have an academy. We've actually put it on pause for the last 4 to 6 weeks just because we're upgrading it right now. But we have an academy where we teach people how to do absolutely everything. Write blogs, do their own SEO, blast out emails, do social media, build marketing bombs. Like they are taught how to do absolutely everything. And so this is all included in the Startup Kit. And Startup Kit blew up. Like the minute we started offering it, we can't keep it on, there's not enough inventory, right? Like it's really that busy, and we're always 3, 4, 5 months ahead on our orders because everybody wants it. And right now with COVID the way it is, everybody should have it. Everybody should be online. Everybody should have the ability to sell their products online, which Startup Kit actually does do. We have a really seamless Stripe integration, shopping carts, everything built right into the platform, and everybody should really, really have the ability to tie it all together in a very seamless way. And for the small entrepreneur, a lot of this is very intimidating. So we've shot hundreds of videos, and again, with the academy, and there is a really strong support team just to my right over here that is dedicated to making sure that everybody can actually use their tech the way it's intended. And so through this workflow, we also ended up really solidifying and securing Stylelabs' future as well. And we actually grew 39%.
Yeah.
And the second part of that is we also wanted to make sure that we diversified. And the way we diversified was actually through acquiring shares in some of our clients' businesses. Businesses that we know there's potential there because we're controlling their sales and marketing. But on the flip side, people that really needed help. And one of those businesses was actually a denture clinic. And I know that it's not glamorous. When I'm out at, on a Friday night and people are like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I own a denture clinic. It's not like that, right? But there's a bigger vision. So we wanted to basically, acquire an equitable share in these denture clinics and then transform them into seniors wellness centers. And so we believe that on the marketing side, Startup Kit really, really gave us that foundation we were looking for. But this seniors thing is actually it's all about passion. When I think about it, I get goosebumps, and I'll tell you why. So my grandma passed away about 3 years ago. And one of the promises that I made to her was that I was going to do something in her honor, create legacy for her. And when I think back as a busy entrepreneur, you know, I don't spend enough time with my parents, my sister. I owe my sister a call from the last 2 days. She's probably watching this thing and gritting her teeth right now. I feel like I didn't spend enough time with my grandparents. And I remember what they went through in their last years, how a trip to the doctor on one day would they would be exhausted. They'd have to recover for it for 2 or 3 days after. And I'm really glad they're not around during COVID. But the reality of it is, I don't want our elders to feel like that. And the idea with this whole seniors wellness thing that I'm working on with my partner Vlad and a couple of our other HCP clients, the idea is to basically bring all of that to them and give them a really comfortable, very affordable experience with top of the line care. Like, they had their time, they worked hard, they grinded, and what's their reward for that? Their reward for that is being the last in line and having to recover 2 days after going for a flu shot? Absolutely not. We need to honor these people. And so our venture and our diversification is all about really, really taking care of our elders. Mm-hmm. So we took care of our team, we solidified Stylelabs, and then most importantly, or equally importantly, was making sure our clients did okay. So we basically went through and we identified opportunities in every client business line, whether that was e-commerce implementation, it was telemedicine, it was simply just refactoring the consumer journey so that we would still help our clients work through this COVID protocol or COVID restrictions that they had and still be able to make money. So we basically morphed overnight from being a marketing strategy company into a business consulting company. And with a heavy emphasis on the online and whatever, but we did a lot of offline stuff as well. And you know what? The clients I come back to, 20 to 30% growth, because once the lockdown was over, a lot of these clients, they came back and they had all this extra demand. So we wanted to make sure we were top of mind and we gave clients access to things right away. And see, what people didn't understand, what a lot of businesses did is they said, oh my God, we're shut down, turn off marketing. First thing you want to do is shut off marketing, shut off your SEO. But you know what? What people didn't understand is that when everybody was locked down, what were they doing? They were on their devices, right? All the time. And so all these people and these businesses that did shut down, thank you for doing that, because what you effectively did was you brought the competition down, you brought cost per click down, and volume was super high. And so with our clients, we were able to achieve rankings and access to advertising at fractional cost and maximal visibility. And so when a lot of our clients go back to their financials now, it's like COVID never happened as far as their books are concerned. Some of them have grown. Some of them have I say this all the time, that COVID was an accelerant for a lot of these businesses, because they thought about e-commerce, they thought about curbside or reservation systems or whatever, but they never did it. Now it became a necessity. And through that, it was just win after win after win. And now things are tightening up again. And we're going back and we're saying, okay, clients, let's do our newsletter blast now. Let's create new journeys. Let's create offerings. Let's really communicate with our customers and make sure they know that we're still there for them. So it was a trifecta. It was exhausting. We were working 18, 19, 20 hours a day, 6-7 days a week. But everybody did okay. Everybody's doing okay. So it was definitely it's definitely been a journey again.
It has been a journey, and it's been incredible. And one of my favorite things about being here and being part of that really motivates me every day is seeing that you're actually truly helping people. You're truly helping these businesses. Like the clients we see in here will straight up say, you changed my life. Like this product, this business, your insight, the strategy, everything that we put in place has changed. they wouldn't be where they are now. So it's really cool to see. We haven't lost a single client. We've grown. We have clients coming on board, and guess what? This isn't going away. Here we go again. Like it's about to, things are about to get a little more challenging. And like you said, there's opportunity. So it's not just about, okay, switching one little piece of your business. We're finding opportunities that didn't exist before for new types of, revenue streams or new ways for people to be doing business. So it's not a kind of maybe I should, it's a must. It's a need. People have to do this.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? Yes, there's lots of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
There are businesses that are blowing up, that are thriving. You look at Skip the Dishes. You look at Uber's doing very well. You look at you look at anybody who is online. Amazon, like Amazon is setting the world on fire right now. I probably spent more money on Amazon during the lockdown than I ever have before. But home improvement, they're doing very well also. A lot of our construction and home improvement clients are like, hey, these people are at home. They want to turn their backyards and whatever into an oasis, and this is the time to do it. We're home anyways, right? So we might as well do it. So there is, this is a wake-up call. I believe that for years we've been living, I take it for granted that you can walk into a Shanks or, go to a bar or, do these things. You can't do them anymore. Like instead, we basically took that as our right. We took having business as our right. We didn't look at it as a privilege. And the reality of it is that this is driving us out of complacency and really making us sharper. And this is our opportunity. Everybody has two options right now. They can either drop dead, not literally, but they can basically tap out and give up, or they can say, you know what, I'm going to part the seas and I'm going to pursue that side hustle and turn it into that main hustle. I'm going to take control over my destiny. I'm going to find ways to actually make things happen. And you know what, this is the time to actually do it. And I believe, you said earlier, that clients come to Stylelabs and they talk to our team and they say, you've changed my life, you've helped me. But the reality of it is, those clients are actually changing our lives, right? They are making us better business owners, better strategists, better marketers. And the reality of it is, they are serving as an example for all the other business owners right now.
Yeah, no, very true.
So COVID absolutely is not, or not COVID, marketing during COVID is not a nice to have. It is a necessity. It is oxygen, right? And so we need to make sure that we are educating and empowering businesses right now and showing them that path to success.
And we do, and we're finding new ways to, to do that and to bring new things to our clients as well. So one of the new developments, new release, I think we're able to say it. I hope we are, because I just said it, that we're announcing something.
No, just do your thing.
Yeah. So, we talked about this just a couple of weeks ago. We have created a new module. So do you want to talk to that a little bit in terms of the magnitude of the whole e-learning space?
Yeah. So e-learning is huge, and right now it's a 100 and, depending on your source, it's about $125 billion industry as it stands today right now.
Billion.
Yeah. By 2025, that's going to be a $350 billion industry. And so what we did was we basically figured that every one of our clients needs to have access to e-learning. Now, why is e-learning important? Number one, it's important for being a good corporate citizen. It's important for educating your customers and empowering them. People do business with people they like. Why are they going to like you? They're going to like you because you're giving them something, no strings attached. You're educating them. You're empowering them. Okay? So that's why e-learning is important. The second e-learning is very important is because it is what they call a marketing tripwire. So a tripwire is how you teach your consumer to surrender something to you, whether that is an email address or it's $9.99 for a course on email marketing, or whatever, right? And so it's a really good tripwire, and it gets people comfortable with your brand, and allows you to establish yourself as a key opinion leader. And finally, there's an HR play that people don't actually see, which e-learning is amazing for onboarding. Like, I'll tell you, Leanne, with how crazy busy we are over here, the one thing that I really struggle with is I hate repeating myself. I hate it. And I feel like I'm doing it all the time. So much so that people actually make fun of me here because they know my script. They know my same jokes and the same comments, and they're like, geez, like I've heard that like 35 times this week, right? So what we're doing is we're snapping all those videos into our onboarding platform. And so whenever we hire somebody, they basically go in and they learn how to use our technology. What's our code of conduct? What's our HR policies? How do we deliver to clients? What is discoveries and onboarding and all that stuff mean? So now it's much easier, and these people now have a reference point or a manual that they can leverage anytime they want. I think e-learning is going to be everything. And the cool thing is that anybody who has Silent Salesman basically gets e-learning for free.
Yeah.
So we also don't believe in the idea of constantly upcharging clients for new modules. So Samurai and Silent Salesman is built on a brain. So every time we release a new functionality or a new tool, it is available for the client with instructions and manuals absolutely free. And so anybody who's on the network right now, email support at stylelabs.ca, and we'll get that activated for you. And we're going to be launching an academy on how to build your own e-learning course coming up. So I think it's going to be amazing. I think it's going to help drive sales. I think it's going to create additional revenue streams. And you know what? It's going to create that stickiness. It's going to, promote evangelism. And those are the things that businesses really, really need to do right now. Like, what I really like is a lot of really cool restaurants are going and saying, hey, here's how you can build your chicken fajita skillet at home. And they could use an e-learning course for that. Personal trainers. I've been on the phone with my fitness clients all day today and all day yesterday with all these new restrictions and environments. And you know what? Like, virtual training. All of our clients are going to be able to do that. Online training, so asynchronous monthly subscriptions for training with trainer supervised support. That's all going to be implemented into e-learning as well. So there are some really, really great things that you can apply. And we actually have a team of people here, and their job is to basically look at businesses, realtors, mortgage brokers, physicians, ECPs, HCPs, and really help them find ways to implement, digitize, and roll out e-learning into their businesses.
100%. Almin, I'm predicting it now. I'm saying it here on our live. I believe e-learning is the silver bullet. If you're in business and you're in online, which if you're in business, you need to be online, figure out an e-learning. Figure out a place where e-learning fits into your business. You can't go wrong with figuring that out. So, and I love the module that we've created here. The user experience is fantastic. So definitely something for people to keep in the back of your mind. It's going to be a $300 billion industry. So why aren't you taking a piece of that, being a part of that?
There is a first mover advantage right now. And every small business, whether you're a team of one or a team of 500, there's an opportunity here. Yeah. And whether you work with us or you use Kajabi or any other platform out there, I mean, it's one of my favorite authors in the world is a guy named Vishen Lakhiani, and he has a company called Mind Valley, and it's all about e-learning. It's absolutely amazing, and I figure that if we can build a community of entrepreneurs that create their own e-learning, and then we can unify them in their own marketplace, Mind Valley is one to many. We can basically facilitate something that's many to many. And you know what? We can do it at a local level. Right now, it is more important to support and buy local than it's ever been before. So this is just another way that you can actually implement that. So we're very excited about it. And just a side note, unrelated, But I also wanted to give a big shout out to our team. So we have an internship program that we do, a couple times a year, and we talked a lot about that on another live. And our interns have basically got together, and we gave them the opportunity to start their own division, their own Stylelabs office. They actually launched their Red Deer office. So Morgan, Haley, and Tyler, congratulations. You guys are doing an amazing job on that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think that they're going to be able to do amazing things with the Red Deer market right now. It's pretty cool.
So many opportunities. I feel like, we just gave, I don't know, I think we've been on here a little over half an hour. I sort of feel like this is a little mini masterclass. So many things to think about and consider as this new environment sort of unfolds in front of our eyes here. So one last question, Almin, and this is, you take as long as you like to answer it because this is a big one, but what is next for Stylelabs? Like, what's the big vision? The long-term vision.
That's a loaded.
It's a big question.
You know what? More of this.
Mm-hmm.
So we believe, and by we I mean our entire leadership team, best team we've ever had, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
We believe that you can earn money ethically and make a profound impact on people's lives. So there's two big things happening. Number one, why do businesses fail? Businesses fail because of 5 things: accounting, marketing, IT, HR, and legal. When a business starts, they're basically on shoestring budgets, and they don't have the bandwidth, they don't have the time, the resources to do things right. And I'm not just talking about every business, I'm talking about our business.
Mm-hmm.
If I give you a list of the accounting issues that we've had,
Mm-hmm.
and tens of thousands of dollars that it's taken us to fix it because we ended up hiring the wrong partner because we were trying to save money, it's not worth it. But when a business starts, they don't understand that. So what we're doing is we're actually launching in the new year something called Stylelabs 360. And what it's basically going to be, we're working with our landlord right now. We're trying to double the office space we have specifically to accommodate 360. And we're hiring the best of the best. We are partnering with the best of the best in those 5 spaces. And we're going to be able to provide unified services for small businesses. So this way, when somebody comes in, they don't have to worry about, employee contracts or hiring or a website or, financial statements. It's all there.
Yeah.
We are also working with financial institutions and with our private lending clients to be able to provide, very affordable funding for clients that are trying to start up or grow, for rescues and so on and so forth. And this is something, Stylelabs 360 is something that we are very, very excited about. And I think that's going to be the future of our organization. On the other side, we basically want to create a 360 in health as well. And I talked about that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
What that's basically going to be is it's going to be a new type of program for our elders, something that is one-stop shop: medical, dental, optometry, dentures, exercise, wellness, and the mental part of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're seeing more challenges with seniors' mental health now than we ever have before. And so we are working really hard on putting together a product and offering specifically for seniors, and something that any elder in our area in Calgary can access whenever they need.
Mm-hmm.
And to supplement that, we're going to have something called MediHubs. And the idea with these MediHubs is they're like food trucks, but it's actually inside of it, it's a spa-like clinic in a box. Mm-hmm. And so for people who have the mobility or have challenges, we'll bring the wellness to them.
Mhm.
It's a big project. We announced it last year at the Stylelabs Christmas party, and it has been something that I am so unbelievably passionate about. I think it's going to make a huge difference. I know that there are things that are out there, but nobody's doing it the way we want to do it. We don't want to just disrupt the industry. We want to become the de facto for the industry and inspire everybody around us to elevate their level of care and concern for these elders because they're not getting the love that they deserve right now.
I think that's amazing. I'm super excited about it too. It's certainly very near and dear to my heart. I'm passionate about it as well, and especially now again with this changing environment. Like this is something I can't wait for us to be able to offer this at the capacity that you're talking about. This is another game changer that's going to help elders and their families. All of the people that try and do our best to support our elders. It's challenging with the the new environment, the new climate that we're all dealing with. So, oh my gosh, there's so much happening, and I'm so excited because I'm seeing it piece by piece rolling out over the months here, and being a part of the team that's helping develop lots of these ideas. So we will have you back again because I want to talk more about that, of course, as we have more details to share on all of the 360 type of projects that we're working on. So we have been over 45 minutes now, Almin. So I think we're going to wrap it up unless you have any final parting thoughts. But thank you for taking your time out of your day. I can't believe I had this window of time for you to do this with us. Really, really appreciate your time and your insights always, and wearing your heart on your sleeve and the things that you're passionate and fired up about.
Well, thanks for having me, Leanne, and happy to come back.
Good. Well, good. You guys heard it. You heard it. He's happy to come back. Wasn't just me that heard it this time. So thank you so much for joining us. We will be back next Friday with another special guest. Thanks again, Almin, and have a great week, everybody. We will see you soon.